Hello, all, and welcome back to Jolly Good Journeys. Today is day 2 of my Tirana adventure. Today, I'm going to ride the Daiti Express cable car and explore Bangkat 1. Let's go. The Daiti Express cable car lifted smoothly from Tirana's outskirts, glass walls revealing the capital shrinking below. Pastel apartment blocks gave way to green hills, then the sprawl of new construction marking the city's relentless growth. Higher still, Mount Daiti's pine forests came into focus, their dark green carpet broken only by rocky outcrops and distant white peaks. The air inside grew cooler as we climbed, condensation forming on glass where breath met chill. Below, Tirana's colorful patchwork became abstract patterns. Red roofs, blue domes, silver roads, all weaving towards the horizon. This was the city I had walked yesterday, now reduced to geometry under winter sun. At 1200 meters, Daiti's plateau opened wide. Endless pine forest stretching to alpine ridges, Tirana, a distant toy city cradled in its valley bowl. The view carried that mountain clarity where every layer sharpened. Foreground trees, middle distance peaks, far off Adriatic haze. Amid the pines sat an unexpected delight, a mini golf course blending whimsy with wilderness. Tirana knew how to mix its serious geography with playful escapes. The descent back down revealed new angles. Morning light now slanting across hillside villages, their red roofs glowing through pine gaps. Tirana reappeared gradually, first as distant cranes, then filling the view completely. What took minutes to descend had taken a lifetime to build. Back at ground level, Bangkat 1 waited in suburban quiet. Another concrete scar from dictator Enver Hoxha's paranoia, larger and more infamous than its cousin Bangkat 2. The entrance tunnel sloped downward, already carrying that particular chill of places built for the end of days. Heavy steel doors parted to reveal the main chamber. Vast, echoing, carved from living mountain. Thick concrete walls dripped condensation, emergency lighting casting greenish pallor across floors meant for panicked footsteps. This was Albania's largest bunker, designed to shelter 600 in atomic darkness. Corridors stretched into chilling specificity. Typewriters that typed denunciations, microphones hidden in walls to catch whispered dissent. Cells where neighbors vanished held only absence now, their iron bars rusted from decades of damp mountain air. Medical rooms displayed surgical kits for atomic triage, saws sized for mass amputations, syringes for radiation poisoning. Children's gas masks, small enough for kindergarten, sat beside party membership cards yellowed with age. Maps marked NATO targets with red pins, while transcripts captured interrogations word for word. A general's desk stood abandoned mid-sentence, inkwell dried beside orders never finished. Air filtration systems rusted where they would hang, designed to filter fallout skies. Sound design amplified dripping water into ominous echoes, footsteps into approaching guards. Every artifact screamed the same truth. This wasn't abstract ideology. It was daily human terror documented in ink, steel, and concrete. From Daiti's open skies to Bankat One's concrete suffocation, Tirana Day 2 captured the capital's extremes perfectly. From mountain breath to regime scars, this city carried its contradictions openly and honestly.